Hi, I'm Joshua Kimball, and this is vlog number 58. This is the vlog where I talk about Quarterly Stories, which is my graphic novel that I hand write, hand letter, and hand ink, and then hand to you, hopefully someday in print. But for now, you can read up to page 47, which I'm now penciling on quarterlystories.com, where I serialize it. What is Quarterly Stories? It's a very personal story to me about faith and mental illness, and I am currently doing this vlog about the process and the progress of creating that graphic novel on top of being a full-time art director, a full-time father, and a full-time husband. And today I just wrapped up freelance, so that's why I'm having a little bit of a beer. It's been a really busy weekend, and once again, I really like this client, and so that's why I'm doing it. And I'll show you a little bit of what I'm working on, but it's like a t-shirt graphic of like a sailor, kind of like a hipster sailor. I've done a couple of these sailor t-shirt graphics for this client, and I really like them. They're a very fair client and have really cool ideas. I don't want to show too much because once again, it's a client, so once they put the art on t-shirts and products and stuff like that, I'll probably link to it maybe in this vlog or in my website. The first of two graphics that this client wants to hire me to do is at least in the first round complete, and the nice thing about this client is they tend to not have too many revisions, especially if I nail it at the beginning, and I think it's looking pretty strong for what they were asking for. So let's take a look at that, and then it's Sunday night at 9 p.m. and I haven't even had the ability to even begin to touch my comics, so it's going to be a pretty hectic night. I think it's important, especially when you're running your own business, to kind of take joy in those little moments where you finish something and complete something, because the nice thing about working from home is you can reward yourself with like a beer or something when you finish a project, whereas at work, not so much, especially if your workplace isn't okay with alcohol. Let's get to it. I'll show you a little bit of what I worked on today, and then I'll show you a little bit after I've hopefully penciled the fifth panel on page 47. So that's my goal tonight. So I'll probably be showing you guys that maybe after an hour or so. So let's take a look at the freelance work. Here's the graphic, and the majority of this was inked digitally. So even though I tend to ink traditionally on a project like this where there might possibly be a lot of revisions and stuff like that, I'll ink traditionally. And so as you can see, there's some pretty interesting details in this, and I was overall pretty happy with it. Initially I had done it and thought that I would call it a day without the sky, and I felt like that was just too blank and bland for what the client was asking for. They wanted, like I said, I've done a series of these for this client, and generally they want these kind of nautical borders and frames, and then basically like different types of sailors and sea captains and stuff like that. So in this case, it's supposed to be a younger sailor, and I felt like, I showed it to my wife, and she always gives really good advice on the art, and she was saying that the background felt a little sparse, and so we just I came up with this, just a little cloud scene, and I think that did kind of seal the deal. So once again, really valuable to have other artists in your life. It definitely helps if you're married to another artist. That's definitely a good thing. So so some mild details. She wants a little bit of tattoos, and since this is a younger sailor, that it would be good to have just like, a little bit of a tattoo here and maybe a little bit showing on his neck, but keep it really subtle, because the previous ones I've done are usually guys who are really tatted up. So that is my freelance for the day, and that's what I spent the majority of my day working on once I was free to work on artwork. So that's it, and now I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to get to penciling, hopefully, this panel, which is panel 5 of page 47. It's 12 midnight, and I just finished penciling panel 5 of page 47 of Quarterly Stories, and it went a little longer than I expected, but it makes sense because there's a little bit of detail in the rendering on these pages. So I'll show that to you, and then I need to get some sleep because it's really late. Okay, so here's page 47, and these are the panels that you're probably familiar with from my last vlogs. Long shot, all this darkness creeping, proceeds to fill half of the panel. Here it is kind of dripping in the background. Here it's starting to cover everything, and then the last page it should be complete blackness. I'm also thinking at this point that when I get to inking, I might use one of my favorite techniques, which is like a toothbrush. So I'll show you guys how that's done when I get to inking, but I still have this last panel, which hopefully tomorrow I won't be burnt out from staying up so late tonight, and we'll be able to finish penciling this page. So page 47, almost finished. I'll call that a good night. Okay, so thanks so much for those of you who've liked, shared, and commented on my videos, and most importantly, subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it's a really good thing to do. Just click right down there and hit subscribe. It really helps me keep producing these videos, and it keeps me encouraged working on my personal projects. I hope all of your personal projects are going equally awesome. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.